Welcome to Little Bracket of Horrors, the pod that puts the fight in fright.
Welcome to Little Bracket of Horrors. I'm Derek.
And I'm Carrie.
And today we are without the irreplaceable Shelly because I made a boo-boo for the first time in this podcast. We actually recorded this podcast like a week and a half ago, but I have failed to record Shelly's portion of it, so it was just completely blank. I don't know what happened. We tried digging into it today. Can't figure it out. I don't know what happened, but we lost that episode. So today I brought on my wonderful wife, Carrie W, to help me record this episode and get it out for you guys. But do not worry. We have Shelly's notes, and we will be sharing Shelly's thoughts on this episode. But hi, Carrie.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Yeah,
we're here.
We're here. We are recording. We're finally getting our Children of the Corn episode out. But before we get into the movie, let's start it off. We start them all off. Carrie, you watch anything scary or anything scary happen?
Think I've watched anything scary. I feel like I haven't even watched a lot of TV lately.
Yeah, life has been scary enough that we've been through hurricanes.
Yeah. I don't think so. My gym's closing. That's terrifying.
That's terrifying. Yeah, that's right. What are you gonna? Where are you gonna Zumba, Carrie?
Well, we don't Zumba too often anymore.
That's true. Yeah.
But she, our Zumba instructor left too. But yeah, we're gonna go to a new gym and keep going. And my boss was teasing me today about because they don't know like the technical name of like the classes that I take, so I just tell everybody like I go to kickboxing class. I don't tell them like, hey, I go to Les Mills body combat.
Yeah.
You know, so
shadow boxing.
Yeah,
in a gym.
So today we were talking about the gym, and I was like, my gym's closing, and like my boss was like, just go to any gym. I'm like, I can't just go to any gym. I need like this one particular, like I like these certain classes. And then I was like, if I don't have Les Mills body combat, how am I gonna uppercut and like jab my work computer in my brain?
In your brain, yes.
I was like, so
all those emails. Fun. Yeah, how are you gonna jab those emails away?
Play them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we've done some Halloween stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
we did have Halloween.
How was Halloween for you?
Oh my gosh, I think you should say how Halloween was for you, because I think you lived your best life on Halloween.
I may have lived my best life and almost got beat up by some teenagers.
You did. They were scary. I just kept walking.
There was a lot of them. You know, they're not that big, but when you get like 30 of them, 14 to 15-year-olds, it can get dicey.
It can get a little scary. We'll have to post a picture on the pod socials so everybody can see you in your glamour shots.
What did we go as?
So you went as Shorty from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I did Jumbo, I think. Yeah. From Killer Clowns. So we had a good time and lots of fun. And you know what my favorite part was?
What's that?
When the little girl hugged us like we were Disney princesses.
Exactly. It was magical. It was dark outside. She was a little timid at first.
Yeah.
But we got down to her level, offered some candy. Then she gave us hugs. Sounds a little messed up.
I think she high-fived us first, and then when she was walking away, she's like, I'm a Disney kid. I got to hug this character.
That's awesome. Yeah. We did feel like Disney princesses. And it felt magical.
Yeah. It
was
a lot of fun. We had a really good time. Ian finally did a kind of Ghostface costume with his blow up.
Yes.
Ghostface costume. So that made me a little happy.
A bit of a compromise on that one. Because he wanted to go as the inflatable T-Rex or whatever.
Yeah,
it
like
was.
a dinosaur.
Yeah, but we met halfway because he's been saying for years and telling you that he would do Ghostface, and he keeps coming up with other things when the day comes, but this time we were able to meet in the middle there. So that was nice.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then we went to Spooky Empire this weekend for just a day, but it was still
amazing.
So much fun.
Got to see Shelly.
Yep, got to see Shelly.
That was nice.
Lisa, Roger,
all of our
Sherry,
friends.
Nanette, Jen Tickner.
Jen, yep, we saw
Everybody was there, yeah, so we had fun.
We met Joe Lynch. Super nice.
So nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He was great.
He was really cool. He was really good with Ian.
Phenomenal.
We'll let Ian talk about his new movies that Joe suggested for him.
I think it was 3 of them, right?
Yeah, I gave him 3 movies. But yeah, he was really, really great. We met the guy from American Werewolf in London that time, and it was just
David Naughton.
Yeah, and it was just like autographed by, and there was no interaction, but Joe really takes the time to get to know you and interact, and it was genuine. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel like he was there just to make a buck.
No, he wanted a connection.
Yeah.
It was great, yeah.
Yeah, so
even the people in line in front of us spent a good, healthy amount of time, and I think we recognized, what kind of person he was. And the one guy, I think, apologized that it was going to take a while, but it was like, no, dude, like, take your time. Like, if someone whose work you admire is actually, like, so giving with their time and gracious, then please, like, soak it up. Like, have those conversations. We don't live next door to these people that, we get to enjoy their work. So if you have those opportunities out at cons, like, absolutely, like, take it all up. Like, I'll stand in line for however long. It's cool as long as, people are getting, those worthwhile times with people. So it was cool to see him, like, digging in deep with people.
Yeah.
And he was amazing with us. Great with Ian, like you said.
Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah.
And he told us that Roger smells.
Roger R, yeah.
Yeah, Roger, you stink.
Yeah, total burn. Total burn on Roger R. The only thing I will say, so yes, all that stuff was amazing. I will go back to the Halloween night. And I will say that Art the Clown was a big inspiration for my physical work.
Oh, okay.
Playing, when I was a killer clown. But it was very, I even said at one point, I was like, I think I missed my calling as a mime.
You did.
But it was so enjoyable, just being killer clowns and running around. And so it was hilarious. A lot of people, I think, thought we were Pennywise because they kept talking to us about Stephen King.
I love when that one girl walked away and she's like, I love a good Stephen King novel. And their friend, I thought their friend was going to pee their pants. They were laughing so hard. And I don't know if she did it to be funny, like just to get the laugh or whatever, but that was hilarious.
I know. It was so funny.
So fun.
And obviously we were clowns and we couldn't talk and tell them, no, it's killer clowns. So it was just a head nod. It's like, no, you're wrong. Wrong one. But it was fun.
Yeah. And then after Spooky, we went to Hallow Scream at SeaWorld.
We had a lot of spooky stuff going on for us. Yeah.
I had to think about it. You have to think.
So what was your favorite house at Hallow Scream? I think we both had the same.
It was the farm one. I think it was like Farm 51.
Farm 51, yes. It was great.
Yeah.
The aliens. A lot of great production in that house. There was that one room with a TV. The alien was like bursting out of it. And the wallpaper, they had like the black neon light. And these like images popping out of it. So it was really cool. Yeah. Awesome room. Great house.
Yeah, they had a lot of scare actors in there. Compared to the other 2 houses that we did. We did miss 2 of the houses out of the 5, but yeah, it just was good. Ian even, he really liked it when we got out of it. So it was fun. I think it was their last night of the event. So, it was a little busier than when we went last year.
It was, yeah.
But we had fun.
We got to ride Icebreaker like 3 times.
We rode it twice, yeah.
Twice? My body felt like we rode it 3 times.
When you got off the first time, I was like, you really riding this again? It was so good, though.
I'm down for the physical pain.
Yeah. It was nice getting one last little haunt in.
Yeah.
I think Ian might be ready for Halloween Horror Nights next year.
We can go for it. I agree.
We should try it and see. So that is really exciting. But yeah, we did do some horror stuff. That's nice.
Yeah. I think that brings us to the beginning. Talking about our movie. Are you ready to get into it, Carrie?
Yes,
Or did you have anything else you wanted to
No.
bring up? So Our first segment, guys, is Dig Up the Bones. And this is where I introduce the movie and give a brief summary. So, Children of the Corn is a 1984 American supernatural horror film based off a Stephen King short story of the same name. Directed by Fritz Kirsch. Other credits include Tough Turf, Into the Sun, and 2 episodes of the TV series Swamp Thing. Screenplay by George Goldsmith. Other credits include Force 5, Blue Monkey, and Nowhere to Hide. Music by Jonathan Ellis. Other credits include Vamp, Leprechaun 2, and the TV series Celebrity Deathmatch. Do you remember watching Celebrity Deathmatch? I remember watching it at your house.
Yeah, I was going to say that was like a long time ago.
Yeah. So I didn't have MTV. You had MTV. So I would go to your house, and I remember watching episodes of Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah.
And it being gory, clay
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So he did the music for it. How
Okay.
crazy. That's pretty cool. Agree with me.
That was awesome, Derek.
All right, next up, so cinematography by João Fernandes. Other credits include Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, The Prowler, and Hollywood Vice Squad. Next up, we have visual effects by Max W. Anderson. Other credits include Airplane, Tron, the 1982 Tron, the original, and Tammy and the T-Rex. Carrie's third favorite movie of all time?
I don't think it's my third favorite, but
No? Is it top 10?
I mean, it's a fun movie.
All right, I guess we'll just
it's a
leave
lot
it
of
at that.
pressure to say it's in my top 10.
All right, production companies: Angelus Entertainment Group, Cinema Group, Hal Roach Studios, Inverness Production, and Planet Production. Carrie's yawning. Distributed by New World Pictures. Carrie, are you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Sequels, prequels.
Boom.
How many sequels and prequels do you think there are?
4, 5, 8. More?
10.
What?
Count them off. Make sure I was right on this.
That's crazy.
But start off, Children of the Corn, The Final Sacrifice from 1992. Children of the Corn 3, Urban Harvest, 1995. Children of the Corn 4, The Gathering, 1996. Children of the Corn 5, Fields of Terror. Where are we at, Carrie? Count.
That's 4.
All right, 1998. That one was... So Fields of Terror were 1998. Children of the Corn 666, Isaac's Return, 1999. And then Children of the Corn Revelation, 2001. Children of the Corn Genesis, 2011. Children of the Corn Runaway, 2018. And then the reimagining of Children of the Corn in 2020 called the same name. Where are we at, Carrie?
That's 9.
9. Sequels, prequels. Actually, they're all sequels, except for the reimagining. There's no prequels. But yeah, can you believe it?
That's crazy.
I know.
I didn't realize that until right now.
Until I told you.
Yeah, that there were so many.
The
Wow.
internet has all of this information. You have no
Google.
idea what's on there.
Google.
I know. It's a vast wilderness of useless and great information.
Mm-hmm.
So, budget for this movie, $800,000. Box office. What do you think it made, Carrie?
What, 1984?
Mm-hmm.
12 million.
12 million. Great guess, actually. Very great guess. Is that proper? Very good guess. Very great guess.
I'm so excited. What is it?
All right, so the box office was 14.6 mil.
Hey,
Very close, Carrie.
I did pretty good. I'm
Give
really
yes.
good at that. Ian, when you listen to this, take notes.
Ian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's always like, 1 million.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, $25 million. Yeah. So, 14.6 million, good for them. Rotten Tomatoes score, 39% on the tomato meter, and then 40% on the audience popcorn meter. So, let's get to our stars of Children of the Corn. First up, we have Peter Horton as Burt. Other credits include Fade to Black, The Gina Davis Show, and T-Rex, Back to the Crustaceous. Do you want to check that one out?
That sounds fun.
Yeah. That's probably like a Sci-Fi Channel style movie. Next up, we have Linda Hamilton as Vicky. Other credits include Dante's Peak, Bermuda Tentacles, and a bunch of Terminator movies. I don't know if you've ever watched those.
I was never into Terminator.
Not into the Terminators? Okay, fair enough.
Just like I'm not in the Viking stuff, I'm not in the Terminator stuff.
Vikings are rad.
Remember when I was like...
Real, historic badasses.
I said something when we did the pod. I was like, I'm not in the Viking stuff or something.
Oh,
and you laughed for like days about it.
I think we watched The Northman, and you were talking shit on it. Yeah. It's a good movie. All right, next person we're going to talk about, Jonathan Franklin as Isaac. Other credits include The Addams Family from 1991, Children of the Corn 666, Isaac's Return, and then what other movie is John Franklin from?
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Tammy and the T-Rex. Courtney Gaines as Malachi. Other credits include The Burbs, Can't Buy Me Love, and The Wrath of Becky. Robbie Kiger as Job. Other credits include Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael, and Monster Squad, which Ian covered a while back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we're going to finish it off with Anne-Marie McAvoy as Sarah. Other credits include TV work. She did a few episodes of Full House and a bunch of one-offs on other TV series. So that takes us through our stars of the movie. So, Children of the Corn. In Gatlin, Nebraska, a boy preacher, Isaac, and his henchman, Malachi, lead the youths in a murderous revolt against the town's adults. Soon, some outlanders, Burt and Vicky, arrive and find out that he who walks behind the rows is far more terrifying than what is depicted in Sarah's drawings. So, reactions to landing on the film. Carrie, do you have any background with it?
I was excited. I don't remember like when I first was introduced to Children of the Corn or watched it. So I don't.
Was this not a first time for this?
No, I've seen it before, but I don't remember like when. And then I was excited because they were just at Spooky.
Yes.
And we went to the panel. Got to hear them talk about the movie and stuff like that. So when you guys pulled it and stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, it's nice to like get back and watch it again. So, I mean, who doesn't love a good Stephen King
adaptation?
Yeah. You know, and I think it's, you know, I'm not very much into religion mixes with horror.
Yeah.
There's that movie that you guys just watched, and I was like, I just couldn't get into it. Yeah. But this kind of is it's there, but it's not like so much in your face. So it doesn't hit me that way, you know?
So a lot of those movies like Saint Maud or like The Omen or Immaculate, like recently, like a lot of those involve heavily the church. But this film isn't so much about the church. It's like what the kids are doing outside.
Yeah.
Obviously in the cornfields and all that stuff. But that is a great point for a movie that is steeped with like religious context. It isn't heavy that we're like in a church or we're dealing with nuns or like bishops or any of that crazy stuff like we usually are with this. So I see that.
Yep. What about you?
So I have a very long history with this movie. This was one of the original horror films that I was able to finish and watch when I was a kid. Anyone who's listened to previous episodes or our first episode, they've heard Matt and I talk about this movie, but this was one of the movies when we were kids, creeped the life out of me. I was so scared of this movie up until recently, and I'll get into it later, but up until recently, in my mind, this was the scariest movie I've ever watched because of how I felt when I was a kid watching this for the first time. So, and there's a lot of great dialogue in it, which we'll get into later, but so when we landed on this, which was a Shelley pick, by the way, I was super excited because I had so much history with this, and I was excited to chew the fat with Shelley and now my wife about it. Boom. So, Carrie, let's get into our discussion. Okay. Next up, Feasting Fiends. And this is where we get into our topics of pros, cons, characters, dialogue, and then our favorite kills / scares. So we talked about originally, at the beginning of this episode, we have Shelley's notes. So I say we kick off the pros with what Shelley had to say. Do you want to read them out? So there's less of me and more of you.
Sure. Okay, so pros for Shelley were that, you know, she does love a good Stephen King book to a movie. that was one of the things that I said about like being excited to
Look
do
at
it.
you guys
so,
being sister wives.
sister wives. And then she thought this one was done really, really well. She also thinks that the kids in this are amazing. Shelley also likes the practical effects that are with it. She especially likes to call out the splatter that are on the kids' faces.
Oh, yes. In that opening scene in the diner with Job.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for being 1984, like, yeah. So good.
Yeah. All right, Carrie, how about your pros? What do you have?
I do think that it is a unique concept because they're children. And they're the antagonist.
They're children.
Yeah. So that's like a little twist on like the horror genre, right?
Yeah.
I also like Shelley. I do like that it's based off of Stephen King. His work's really good, and I think how did he write so many good things that just adapt into a movie so well?
Yeah.
It's like insane. And then that, can attract the fans and like helps bring the story to life, but it's just so cool. I do like the creepy setting, like in that rural, like cornfields, abandoned town, like when they were driving through and it was just like they were getting lost and it was just like we're back at the same spot. Like that in itself is terrifying, you know?
Even,
so like
even in some, it's a small town, but there's still this vibe of isolation.
Yeah.
Because like it is a ghost town. All the adults are gone. So
yeah. And I do think it's just all around like creepy. And then there are some, for what it is in its simplicity, I think too, like it is very suspenseful. In a lot of moments, the beginning opening scene is really, you do not expect it like to come in and hit you and punch you like that. But, and especially like I said, to be children, like it's so creepy.
Yeah.
So
Imagine how
creepy.
and which is exactly why when I was a kid, like, even though these, I was watching my peers be the protagonists and be the evil ones, it was still so rough to watch as a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so it is creepy. You're right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, to kick off my pros, I'm actually bringing in a fun fact. And
Fun facts.
So one of my pros is thank goodness for George Goldsmith. I know we were just singing Stephen King's praises on the ability for his books to be adapted to some of the greatest horror movies of like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But thank goodness for the screenwriter George Goldsmith on this. He ended up writing the final screenplay because originally Stephen King submitted one and had first run at it. But the first, I think it was like 30 or 40 pages, was just Burt and Vicky arguing, which was based off of his book. So without George, we don't get that iconic diner scene. And we would have been, in my opinion, we would have been more bored and annoyed by the adults than what we were already. So thank goodness for George, because if we would have got Stephen King's script, we would have had 30 minutes of Burt and Vicky in a car just yelling at each other. Because in the short story, Burt and Vicky are already married, and they're going through some turmoil in their relationship.
Oh, okay.
And they're actually like talking about going to see a counselor. But a lot of the narration in the story is Burt like inner monologue of just like how he despises his wife, and he's really like, she's very annoying in it, and then he's just like kind of despicable in it with how he's like in his head talking about his wife and how he wants like violent things to happen to her. It's not a good start for a movie. So I was just I was very thankful for George Goldsmith, because I also think the introduction and the kind of emergence of Job and Sarah, the little kids, was fantastic and another great aspect of this movie. So thank you, George, for kind of saving this from Stephen King's original idea. And then also the casting of our antagonist, Malachi and Isaac. I think John Franklin and Courtney Gaines, without a doubt, made this movie. Their performances make you legit scared. And, they're just these adolescents, and they, it's believable that they are capable of leading an army of like killer kids
Yeah.
to take over the town. So as crazy as the story or concept is, their performances make it believable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think without the casting of those two, this movie doesn't pack the punch that it does.
Yeah.
So that was another pro of mine. And then my last pro is actually the theme song, composed by, what was it, Jonathan Ellis. Pure perfection, in my opinion, because you have these spooky keys to start it off, and then it slowly builds to like the choir of kids.
Mm-hmm.
And what a perfect marriage of a movie of these killer kids than having a choir of children doing these like church hymns.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a church hymn. So I thought the title song, the theme song, whatever you want to call it, was just amazing for this. It's like Tubular Bells for Exorcist, or the for Friday the 13th. So I think it just goes hand in hand with this film, and those are my pros. So let's move on into cons. Do you want to give us Shelley's cons to kick us off? Awesome.
So it's funny that you bring up the music because, well, I mean, you're particularly talking about the one song, but
Yes.
Shelley did feel that the soundtrack sometimes was just noise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked. Yeah, it was like the soundscape, like in the background, like it was very abrasive.
Yeah. I agree with her. Like some little bit more of like a backstory. Like it was almost a little too short for her liking. I feel like you do want a little bit more at the end, but I mean there were 9 other movies later, so I mean I get it. And then obviously like it's from the 80s, so some of the effects were a little bit outdated, but it is the 80s.
You know what you're signing up for when you're watching a movie
Yeah,
from 84. Yeah.
I was 1.
Yeah. So was I. I was a little baby. I was a little guy. What do you have for your cons, Carrie?
Like you were talking about John and Courtney and their amazing performances. It did kind of outshine the other kids.
Yeah.
Like cuz they were just so good. They just fit that part so well. So I feel like it could like make it seem a little unconvincing at times about the other kids because they were like so good. Like sometimes I just felt like they were just like what, like
do you think it was
we're there, like
do you think it was performance or was it like the writing of the other characters? Which for you was like the thing that dropped off?
Like because you do feel that they are leading this group, right?
Yes.
And then the kids are following, but it was like not hey, we're following these guys, these other kids telling us what to do. It seemed like confusion and like
which kind of gives it like a reality feel to it because kids are pretty disorganized, so it was like organized but chaotic. So that could bring a level of reality to the story. But
and like Shelley, like special effects sometimes at the end with that you want so much more, and you just get like
grand
this
reveal of he who walks behind the rose.
You're just like, okay, like that's it. But it was 1984, so that could change that.
I have some fun facts at the end that will explain maybe why we got such mediocre special effects. But I just wanted to. Did you have any other cons?
I think sometimes the movie can be just a little slow or like uneven because you have a lot of periods of like less intense scenes, less action, less suspense, and then at other points it's just like a lot. So it could drag a little bit in engagement, but I mean it's still a cool concept.
This movie's opening is so iconic that it almost kind of overshadows like any of the other portions of the movie. Like for anyone that's a fan of this movie, they'll talk about the scene in the corn between Malachi and Isaac.
Yeah.
And
the opening scene.
Yeah. And the gas situation at the end is like, another part. But that opening is such a classic that it does kind of like it does drop off. So I can understand where you would want to get that at least some sort of rhythm with like those intense moments throughout it, and it doesn't peak like it did in the beginning.
Yeah.
So for my cons, as I said, this movie terrified me as a kid up until recently. Considered it one of the scariest movies. But when I watched it again a couple years back, it didn't necessarily stand the test of time. And it may be to the fact that I couldn't care less about Burt and Vicky in this movie. And maybe that's where it doesn't have a sense of terror for me. Like, I didn't care about them. And they're just, for me, they felt like boring wallpaper.
Okay.
And just like background noise. Like, they weren't that important to me. So I think the fact that there was no urgency for me to like worry about them is a reason that maybe it took some of the bite away from me. And it wasn't as scary. I mean, Isaac and Malachi were creepy, and all their parts were great, but there was no sense of real dread or worry that I had for this movie. So, also to speak on what you said about the computer special effects, towards the end with the final reveal with the flames and smoke billowing from the corn, it just looked terrible. And, the budget was tight. I kind of wish less is more.
Just like a small fire.
Or like, we can just get, like, the noise was great.
Yeah.
The noise of He Who Walks Behind the Rose was, like, pretty jarring and terrifying sounding. So maybe just give us, like, some corn rustling and, like, people's reaction. Like, we don't need that computer-generated flame coming up and then, like, the weird face in the smoke of it. Like,
yeah.
It was just very odd. And I think if you can't create exactly what you want in those moments as a director or whoever's making those final decisions, I think you just go with less is more, because when you give us something visually that is just so odd, it takes away from those intense moments. So yeah, that was my last con. Let's move into characters. What did Shelley say about?
She, of course, had Isaac and Malachi.
Oh, as her favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we this whole podcast could just be how great those guys
you could
were.
do like a special episode. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you feel characters?
Yeah, I again, like, they're two of the main antagonists. I mean, Isaac obviously being the most, but he was just charismatic too with it.
You could see,
Yeah, and I mean, he formed a deadly religious cult at a young age. Good for him. But he is manipulative. He embodies evil. But there's just something about him as an actor. Like, he's so good at that role, and he was perfect for it. Like, and then Malachi, he's scary. He is scary.
His face work, physical work
yes.
in it. Like that scene in the beginning, obviously when he's playing the pinball and he just looks over with that like evil smile and nod.
Oh, so
just
scary.
Like something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah. Burt and Vicky were just there for it. And like I said, sometimes with my con, like sometimes I just felt like the kids weren't fully, and maybe that was the whole point, was like they were zombies and they were just part of this cult, and they were
brainwashed.
Like, but it was just a little too much for me.
I gotcha.
But yeah.
So for my characters, we spoke about the Burt and Vicky just being boring and all that stuff, but I also thought they had zero chemistry. And that beginning scene in the hotel, I thought was very awkward. You cap it off with Vicky's very cringe dancing and singing number. And then other than that, Burt was he was stumbling through this movie and he just like randomly assaulting teenagers. And I thought Vicky was only used as like bait to get Burt to the corn, which is kind of a shame because we see the work that Linda Hamilton can do later in movies like Terminator, where she can be this like strong and like enforcer type character. So it is a shame that she wasn't like utilized in a better way. But moving on, Malachi, I mean, enjoyed him a lot. He was the muscle for Isaac, and he eventually turns on him in that scene in the corn. But I also love the scene where he had Vicky hostage and he was yelling out for Burt. He's just calling him an outlander to come out and stuff. So another iconic, great scene, and love Malachi.
Yeah,
Isaac. He looked amazing in that opening scene where he was just like coming slightly through the window and he had that huge ass hat on.
Yeah.
I just thought it's such an iconic look. When he spoke, it was easy to see why the kids fell in line. Like you said, so charismatic.
Yeah.
And he sounded like this mini hellfire and brimstone preacher that it was just perfect. I talked about my pros, them two being casted, but You know, as far as like speaking on the characters themselves, like that's what I loved about
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And then one of the things with Sarah, she had the gift of sight. Even Isaac talked about it. She drew all those pictures we saw in the movie, but to me, I felt like she was severely underused, especially by Burt and Vicky. I think they just fumbled her abilities. It would have been great to see her be more part of like the final resolution of how
Okay.
they would solve things.
Yeah.
Because all they did was they found that passage from the Bible,
Yeah.
from the blue man that was about burn it with fire or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it said, but that was the thing. And I kind of wish that Sarah was more part of how they found out how to take care of this.
Yeah.
This he who walks behind the rose.
Are any of them in any of the other movies?
No.
Oh.
I've watched the next one and the third one, and one of them I know they're in Chicago, and someone has some corn in like their backyard in downtown Chicago. So it's very weird.
Okay.
But I know obviously Isaac comes back for the sixth one.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about the franchise to tell you who comes and goes. But I
Yeah.
don't think anybody pops up from the original films and the later ones. But the last character I do want to talk about before we move on is who I feel is the true hero of the film, and that's Job. First and foremost, he knew how the pump worked. He had to tell, Burt to crank it. So crank the pump.
Crank the pump.
Crank the pump. But also Burt's attempt at throwing the initial Molotov cocktail, he absolutely fumbled that as well. So here's our hero, Job, 6 years old maybe.
Get it.
Just running into the corn. He who walks behind the road is like billowing up, almost like a tremor, and like coming after him. So Job is the hero, the true hero of this film. Forget about Burt. Forget about Vicky. It's all Job. So
good job, Job.
I need to give some love to Job and the characters.
I clap for him for you.
Yes, thank you.
Good job, Job.
So let's move on into dialogue. What did Shelley have for dialogue?
Man, I feel like Shelley should do this because of her acting.
Yes.
Because she does with Isaac and Malachi. So she does. She's so good at acting.
Isaac,
I don't know if I could do this. So Isaac says, "Don't just stand there. Seize him. Punish him. The Lord has chosen me as the bringer of his word and the giver of his laws. Disobedience to me is disobedience to him. Do it now, or your punishment shall be 1,000 deaths, each more horrible than the last." I did pretty good.
No, that was great.
And then Malachi says, "They are tired of your talk, Isaac. I've shown them what I can do."
And the tables turn.
And then Malachi says, "Cut the woman down. Put Isaac in her place. We shall see how the Lord favors you."
And
scene.
Very well done, Carrie.
I did pretty good.
I'm trying to yes. Good job.
Good job. Yeah.
Good job. Did you have any dialogue that you want to talk about?
I mean, you already said it earlier, but when he's like, "Outlander!"
Yes.
Like, how can you, anytime you hear that, you
I have your
instantly
woman,
think,
Outlander.
Yeah. She still breathes for now.
Yes.
Like,
what a great scene.
yeah. Anytime somebody says Outlander, you cannot tell me that you don't go right to that moment.
It's true. And there's a couple moments in this film where it's like such great little moments of dialogue that in modern times someone says it and you're like, oh, someone's a Children of the Corn fan.
Yeah.
I know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good one, Carrie. But one of my favorite moments, dialogue-wise, stems from my childhood because when we watched this film when we were kids, we were all very creeped out by it.
Mm-hmm.
So the scene where Isaac is reanimated,
Okay.
and he comes back and he has the demonic voice and he calls to Malachi and he says, "Malachi, he wants you too, Malachi. He wants you too." So when we were kids, we would sneak up on each other and go, "Malachi, he wants you too, Malachi." And be like, "Oh," a bunch of little kids just running around scaring the crap out of each other.
Yep.
But also there was a narration moment by Job while Joseph was getting ready to like run away in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And this part was kind of funny, but he was saying how Joseph was scared, but he wasn't scared. And then in the movie, Job went to speak and he said, "I'm scared."
I didn't catch that.
Job had a couple funny moments, like at the end with the when Burt was making the Molotov cocktail. He like ripped a portion of his shirt off, and he was like, "Hey, that's not a rag." Job is great.
Yeah,
That's what he's the
your
hero.
favorite. I'm gonna have to get you a shirt with him on it.
With Job,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down. My birthday's not too far away. If you want. All right, let's move on to kills or scares. What did Shelley have, Carrie?
Shelley had what I have. The opening scene. It just says, "Love the opening scene."
Yeah. Let's talk.
I love it too, Shelley.
So let's do. So that's your favorite kill or scare? Okay.
Yeah. It's disturbing. It's shocking. It
Yeah.
sets a tone for like the whole rest of the movie.
What other adjectives do you have?
It showcases
I don't know what this is.
the violent nature of a children's cult.
Of any cult, but yes.
How terrifying. It's so impactful. Yeah, like I said, it sets the tone. It introduces us to like this eerie, disturbing world of this town that these kids live in, and formed this deadly religious cult. Like, it's just so creepy because you don't expect it. I mean, it goes right to like that camera zoom in on the sign that says "Welcome to Gatlin."
Yeah, Gatlin. Yeah,
and then it's like there's blood on it.
Spooky.
Yeah,
I know. We're kicking it off,
and it's just eerie and deserted, and you're just like, "What is happening?"
I know.
Like, but they get them.
They do. They get them so good.
They get them real good.
Yeah. Another kill that I thought was pretty funny was actually
funny.
Yes, but it was actually, and it wasn't really a kill, I guess, but it was when Isaac was taken over by like the TV static thing, whatever that crap computer generated graphics was. But when his cornstalk cross was exploded and like twisted.
Oh
in the air.
yes, that was
Was
awesome.
like, what?
That's probably another thing Shelley would have brought up with the special effects.
Yeah, she did speak on the TV static crawling up people and how it was weird. But yeah, I enjoyed seeing Isaac's cross just explode into the air and pew, pew, pew. That's the noise it made in my head.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on into Final Cut. And this is where I tell the ending of the film and we discuss and give our ratings of 1 to 5 stabs. 1 stab, no redeeming value. 2 stabs, bad. 3 stabs, mediocre. 4 stabs, good. 5 stabs, masterpiece. So, Isaac scolds Malachi for killing Dolly, the only source for fuel, the gentleman at the gas station. Malachi takes over, tired of Isaac's preaching, and orders Isaac to be sacrificed instead of Vicky. Isaac warns that sacrificing him will break their pact with he who walks behind the rows, and the children will be punished. That night, Burt sneaks into the cornfield to rescue Vicky. During Isaac's sacrifice, a supernatural light appears and devours him. Burt overpowers Malachi and convinces the children to abandon the cult and run. Isaac reappears, possessed by he who walks behind the rows, and kills him by choking him and breaking his neck. A storm appears, and Burt and Vicky shelter the children in a barn. Reading from Job's Bible, Vicky realizes that the cornfield must be destroyed by fire in order to stop the false god. Burt tosses a Molotov cocktail into the field, setting it alight and destroying the demon. The couple returns to the car with Job and Sarah to leave Gatlin, but it is disabled. Out of the back seat, Rachel jumps and attacks Burt, but Vicky knocks her out, and they depart with the children on foot. The end.
The end.
Yes. So, Carrie, how did you feel about the ending of Children of the Corn?
Well, you talked about the effects in there, so that did kind of like, I think it just took away a little bit from like the scariness of the demon? What are we?
He who walks behind the rose.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Like, but I just think that the special effects at the end did kind of take away from it a little bit because you're so scared, and then you see this happen, and then you're like, well.
In my mind, something.
Yeah. I could see as a young age you're still terrified from it, right? But when we watch it today, it doesn't pack that punch as much anymore. Yeah. So I get that. I do like that they got away.
You like a happy ending.
I like a little happy ending.
Yes.
All those poor kids, but I want to know more.
Except for Malachi and Isaac.
Yeah, but
all the good kids.
Yeah.
The brainwashed ones.
Those poor kids.
They're okay.
They got out.
For now.
They should do a documentary.
Yeah.
About how they got out. No, about how they survived a cult.
Oh, okay.
Surviving the corn.
Oh.
Look, done.
You are done. Yeah.
Done.
People
that is going to be the 10th.
Ooh. Yeah. But it's going to be a documentary. It's not going to be a movie.
Oh, geez, Derek. Don't get so technical on me.
Okay. So, I agree. The ending didn't pack as much as a punch as, some other moments in the movie.
Yeah, like the opening scene.
But I did find it funny how Burt and Vicky were just so quick to essentially adopt Job and Sarah. Like, they were joking, like, oh, how long can we come stay with you? It's like, oh, maybe for a day. Well, maybe for a week. Oh, a couple months. We'll see how it goes. And I was like, this is kind of an odd conversation. Everyone's very happy and like completely forgot about what just went on.
Well, that's what happens, right? They're like, hey.
I know, but it was...
The spell's broken.
Yay. So, Carrie W, are you ready to stab this film?
I am.
Okay, so first let's give Shelly's stabs. So what did Shelly stab it?
I don't have Shelly's stabs.
I think she stabbed it 3.
I don't see stabs in here.
Should I call her live?
Her voice is from beyond. Oh my gosh, call her. Okay, it is 9:30. She might be sleeping. Oh. Just try. She doesn't have to answer.
Okay, we'll try. Caller, you're on the air. Ooh, I guess we could have did this.
Yeah.
Caller, you're on the air.
What's up?
Hey, we're recording a podcast and we can't find what your stabs are. So I was like, well, let me try to call her.
And I said, call her.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry. Are you trying to sleep?
I'm like passed out.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'll say you gave it 3 stabs. You'll watch it again.
I'm pretty sure I gave it more than that, but
okay, 3.5.
I don't remember.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't write it down either.
You get some rest. I can't wait for you guys to have your girls' night tomorrow night and have a great weekend. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Well, we'll say Shelly gave it 3.5.
Okay, let's rewind.
Okay. All right, Carrie, what do you give it?
I think I would probably give it a 3 out of 5 stabs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the beginning's so good. So good. Creepy, scary. I love the concept.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of horror out there that I know that, again, is religious but doesn't throw it in my face constantly.
Yeah.
And also has kids.
Yes.
It's so scary. Like, thinking about the kids turning on you.
It has kids.
Gotta look at Ian from the side sometimes. Be like, don't join
Side
that.
eye him? Yeah.
Stay away from that religious cult, bro.
Pick your friends wisely.
No, thank you.
Do not go out into the cornfield with Isaac when we're at church.
I mean,
we understand there's a drought and we got problems with the corn, but don't do anything drastic that you might regret, like kill your parents.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Bad move, kids.
Bad move.
Yeah.
Bad move.
How are they surviving? Wasn't this what? So that happened. I think it was like 3 years later that Burt and Vicky show up
because they told the guy at the gas station
guy. Yeah.
You will stay alive if you.
Yeah, he was giving them
helping us.
Yeah. So what was he doing?
He was giving them stuff.
All they were eating was corn for 3 years.
It's corn.
It's corn. It's the juice. It's got the juice. I don't know the words to it.
Can't imagine a more beautiful thing.
Yes. Okay. So.
Yep.
What?
3.
You gave it 3 stabs?
Three
Okay.
stabby stabs.
I couldn't remember. We got lost.
Mm-hmm.
We got lost
Sorry.
there. So for myself and I would give this 3.5 stabs.
Oh, you and Shelly twins.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but the few things it does right, I really enjoy, and I would watch it again. So, yeah, 3.5 stabs. Next up in this podcast is a segment that we like to call Voices from Beyond. And this is where we share your thoughts on the movie that you gave to us off social media like a month ago. So,
thank you so much.
Yes, thank you everyone who shared, and we got some good ones. Carrie is going to be filling in the role for Voices from Beyond. I don't even know my own segments. So Carrie, please do take it away.
All right. So first up, we got Jer Bear, a.k.a. Jeremy W. He says, watch Children of the Corn, classic Stephen King. Still gives me chills from the music to Isaac standing at the window watching as the kids kill all the adults with them dead eyes. Wow.
Dead eyes.
Wow. Very good choice from the Wheel of Death. 4 out of 5 stabs. Hope y'all keep on doing the podcast. Love it. Jer Bear.
Thank you, Jer Bear.
Thanks, Jer Bear. Ray M. said, when I watched this for the first time, it was very underwhelming. Watched it the second time around, and yep, nothing's changed.
Oh my God.
The acting wasn't there for me, and the story was kind of boring. On a positive note, the actor who played Isaac was made for that role. He embodied everything I would expect from a kid cult leader. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 stabs. You can watch this once and be good. I'm glad you are all okay from the hurricane. I've been through a few here in Texas, but that one seemed pretty intense.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Yeah, we've been through a couple hurricanes. We've been through Helene and then Milton.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1-2 in Florida.
Isn't Helene easy to remember? Because
Because
isn't
of
that
the
the My Chemical Romance song?
Yeah, the one My Chemical Romance song I like. Why are you giving me those eyes?
I can't, because I can't wait for them to come to Warped Tour, and Shelly and I
That's
are going to
cool.
have you
I'll get
stand
excited
between
for one
us,
song.
and we're going to sing in your face.
Listen, I have embraced the music that I used to scoff at.
I know.
As a young
impressed.
19-year-old. And I, a couple months back, went down a rabbit hole, and I was like, all right, I'm going to listen to some My Chemical Romance and probably find a bunch of stuff I like. I did not. I found a couple songs. I found like 2 or 3. And Helena was one of them. Helene. Helena.
Okay. Next up, we have Taker of the Left Socks.
That is Steven from work.
Oh, Steven, hi.
He gives great hugs.
Just a big teddy bear.
Yeah. He's got big arms, and they wrap around you and pull you in close. You feel sheltered.
Yeah, just like all warm and
Yep.
You just nuzzle in.
All right, enough about Taker of Left Socks.
I don't understand what that means. You have to explain that to me.
I don't know either.
Oh.
I don't. I think it's just some nonsense. It was just something that was funny to him.
Oh. So Steven said, it's a classic that isn't talked about too much. I think the sequels might have something to do with that.
Yeah, could be.
Mm-hmm.
He must have watched them, unlike me.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Next up, we have Quinlan. He said, having just rewatched this one, I love the lore much more than the execution. I hate voiceover when it's as ham-handed as it is here. The adult leads fall flat for me as well. Great kid acting, though.
I agree. I'm so tired.
Brian S. said, this has one of the best intros in horror film history. Rest of the movie is a mixed bag. Best part is the lasting legacy of the Malachi character.
Mm-hmm.
I still give tall, red-headed guys a double take if I see one. Bonus, scene Terminator Linda Hamilton. 3 stabs overall average. This is going to be confusing.
This is?
Yeah, because it's another Carrie W.
Oh,
but
How's it
it's
spelled?
Kari.
Ah.
Yeah.
Is this your friend? Maybe?
But you tell me.
You tell me.
Probably.
All right. What was that?
My computer
Playing
turned
the
off.
drums? Oh, all right.
Okay.
Boom, boom.
Next up, we have Carrie W. She said, I was in my early 30s before I ever saw this movie, LOL. It didn't scare me, however, was like, that's kind of messed up, LOL.
Yeah, it is kind of messed up. This movie's kind of messed up. It starts off messed up. Was that the end?
No.
We have more?
Yep.
Okay.
Roger R.
Ooh, Raj.
This, he smells, by the way.
Oh.
This is the best review I've ever seen for a movie.
So, yeah, he paints a picture.
Everybody, just hold on for
Hold on to your steering wheels.
1 second.
Roll up the windows because your hair is about to be
Yep.
blown back.
Ready?
Do tell.
I like this movie. Period.
You know, it's tough sometimes to put into words how beautiful art can be. So we're just gonna let that. We're just gonna let that sit and be what it is before
It's beautiful.
for its beauty to shine. So no
right.
notes, no
Nope,
notes.
none whatsoever. All right, next up, Brian M. First off, hope everyone's doing okay after the hurricane. The movie's fine, but nothing spectacular. Isaac and Malachi are creepy, and both actors do a fine job. The opening scene in the diner is the most memorable thing in the movie, but overall, it's not that scary. There's worse ways to spend an hour and a half, but definitely not a go out of the way rewatch. This is probably the 3rd time I've seen it. He gives it 3 stabby stabs.
All right.
And then Matt F. said, first saw this back in the 80s and loved it. Well, of course I did. I think I had a huge crush on Linda Hamilton at the time, LOL. I rewatched it a couple years ago and was not the biggest fan, but the wheels spoke and I visited the cornfields again. Lo and behold, I enjoyed this watch. The cafe scene grabber right from the beginning. While at times the movie slugs for lack of material, on the whole, it was enjoyable. John Franklin does a great job portraying Isaac, but for some reason, Courtney Gaines' portrayal of Malachi didn't feel right as an enforcer.
Oh,
wow.
Interesting take.
Yes.
I need more on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Linda Hamilton, thanks, Wheel. Can't wait to see what is next.
Awesome. I think we also have Amanda Dubs, and she said, I grew up rurally, and this movie forever changed the speed that I biked past cornfields.
Ooh.
It made cornfields so scary. I also forever hate the name Malachi. So those are our Voices from Beyond, and we have a special live Voices from Beyond from the host of Little Ian of Horrors, Ian.
Hello, guys.
Ian.
I like that you clapped for yourself.
Uh,
Hey, Ian.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Would you like to tell us your stabby stabs on Children of the Corn and maybe tell us a little bit about it?
So, I like Children of the Corn. It has some good suspense. It's a good movie for its time, and it still hits some sequences at this time right now. And I think it's a really good, old movie.
Old,
And
so you think Dad and I are old?
No.
Mom and I were both 1 year old when this came out.
Yeah, so thanks.
So, I think it's a good movie for its time. CGI is good for that time. I
don't know if that was CGI, but
Yeah.
oh, it was?
CGI.
Okay.
And then there's 15 coffees too. For my stabs for the movie, I would give it, have to say, probably 4.6.
4.6. Very, very accurate there. Hey, who was your favorite character?
I would have to go with the 2 kids.
Isaac and Malachi?
No, the little kids.
Oh, Sarah and Job?
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. Do you know that Job is your dad's favorite character?
Oh, really?
He thinks he's the hero.
Yeah, I said he was a hero. I didn't say he was my favorite.
Oh, well, he had a lot to say about him.
I did.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
All right.
What? That's it?
Thanks, Ian.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye, buddy. Oh, yeah. Clap for Ian.
No one wants to. Okay.
Clap for
okay,
Ian.
good.
Oh, good job, Ian. It's almost
Yay.
time for bed.
Please close the door. Please close the door. Ian, close the door.
Okay, it's 9:43. Yes, soccer in the morning.
Push the thing so we can finish this out. Okay. All right. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ian, for that
Yes,
live
thank
Voices from
you.
Beyond. And next up, we have Loose Ends. And this is where we bring any last thoughts or fun facts we have for the movie. So I'll throw it to you first, Carrie.
I don't have,
Do you have anything? Okay, that's
Very
fine.
sorry.
No,
Just
you are good. Thank you.
been-
Thank you so much. I got some fun facts I
Ooh,
brought to
hey.
the table. So
Fun facts. I like this movie.
okay, Roger R. Fun facts. All right, so the first fun fact I have is that although Isaac is supposedly a teenage actor, John Franklin was 24 years old at the time of filming.
Mm-hmm.
Franklin's small stature is due to him being born with a growth deficiency. So, John Franklin, 24, in a sea of children. All right, that's
Yeah.
weird. I'm gonna
You
take-
can kind of tell because he does look like a little bit older, but he still
Yeah.
like fits
Yeah.
the part. Like,
But
you
like
know.
his voice, like
Yeah.
everything about, like he was made to be a child preacher. Like
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just it's
Agree.
perfect.
Yeah.
Next up, the film's budget was originally. Remember at the beginning I said it was $800,000.
Yeah.
Budget was originally $1.3 million. But according to the director Fritz Kirsch, shortly before film began, Stephen King demanded more money in advance or wouldn't let the studio use his name in the marketing.
Oh.
So they were forced to give King $500,000, thus reducing the budget to a mere $800,000.
Mm-hmm.
This ultimately led to numerous scenes being altered or scrapped altogether, as the crew no longer had the money to pay for them. Kirsch believed this was King's way of getting revenge for his script being rejected, which would come back to bite King as the film became one of the most profitable films based off of his work thanks to the small budget. Years later, upon learning of King's notorious drug addictions, Kirsch suggested that he wondered if King simply wanted more drug money.
I didn't know Stephen King did drugs.
Oh yeah, he was into drugs. So, next up, I have after the release of this highly successful film, Goldsmith revealed that much of the story was a metaphor for the Iranian Revolution, with the takeover of the town by these quasi-religious zealots acting as an evil god based off of the Ayatollah and his revolutionary guard taking over Iran. But Burt and Vicky were symbolic to the American hostages, and Goldsmith was using a horror film to expose the dangers and evils of religious fundamentalism. So, all right, that
Just
brings
some cool fun facts.
yeah.
Thank
So
you, Derek.
that brings us to the end of our discussion about Children of the Corn. So now it's time for Wheel of Death. And with this, Carrie's going to be taking the honors of picking a movie out from the bag. She's in there with her nice hand digging around, getting messing some papers, some folded papers. I worked very diligently. I can't talk. I worked very diligently folding those papers so nicely.
We're
to be
ready to
pulled from
chant.
a bag.
Really
And
digging
Carrie.
in here.
So it's triangle. All right, Ian. All right, Ian. All right, Carrie. So it looks like you got a movie there. So what do you have out of the bag?
Triangle.
Triangle. I believe that's a Shelley pick. That's one of the last remaining Shelley movies
Man,
inside the bag.
she's really getting them this year.
Yeah. We're getting so close, and she's had a boatload of movies. So I'm adding.
It's gonna be. Do you think it's gonna be hard for her to like pick because she had so many picks?
No. I think she'll be able to weed out the duds and the non-duds. So we don't have many duds this year, to be honest, though.
Yeah.
So let me read off the 10 movies we have on the Great Wheel of Death. So
Okay.
we have The Exorcist Believer, 31, Dashcam, The Wailing, Ringu, The Babadook, Triangle, new movie, The Shining, X, and Dead Snow. So let's save it. And we're saving it. And are you ready to do the chant?
Yes.
All right, so here we go.
Wheel of death.
Wheel of death. Wheel of death. Wheel of
death.
Ooh. And next up on the podcast, we have The Babadook.
The Babadook.
The Babadook. I watched this a couple years back. I think this is a Shelley pick as well.
Jeez, oh man.
So let's see
Keep
where
picking.
The Babadook is showing. I know I watched it years back on, what the heck was it? Netflix. So it looks like The Babadook is available on Plex. Looks like it's still on Netflix if people have that. If you have a subscription to AMC, you can check it out there. Looks like maybe on Amazon as well. But as always, if you guys pay attention to our socials, we will be posting it up there for you guys to watch along with us and then give us your thoughts to be included in our Voices from Beyond segment. So, all right, that's it. Any last words before we call this thing, Carrie?
Nope. Good night, Ian.
Good night, Ian. Yeah, Ian's currently listening to this while he sleeps.
Yeah.
All right,
Sorry
so-
you had problems with the podcast last time. Hopefully Shelley can make the next one. And
Yes.
yeah, just 'cause we're, recording this late on a Friday night and Monday,
Mm-hmm.
a Monday in November, I won't say exactly what day,
Okay.
is Shelley's birthday. So I just want to give a big shout out to Shelley, say happy birthday.
Hey,
Can't wait to celebrate you this weekend with just like a little chill girls weekend. So
Nice.
very excited. So happy birthday. We
Yeah.
love you.
Happy birthday to Shelley. And yeah. Next episode drops November 20th. So don't miss out and tune in to the end of the season, where we will be taking all the films we've watched and have them battled out in our deathmatch tournament. If you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review if you like what we do. You can find us on Facebook and TikTok by searching Little Bracket of Horrors, and on Instagram by typing @Little Bracket of Horrors. We also have merch available at tpublic.com. Just search for our name in their website search bar or pay attention to our socials for a direct link. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm Derek,
And I'm Carrie.
and we will catch you on the other side.
Execution.
I can hear everything.
Yeah, but
Remember when Grammy was making popcorn?
I know we're gonna miss that awesome content. We're gonna miss it. Check. Talk.
Yep.
All right, you sound good. Let's do a test on this real quick. This should be fun as well, but
Oh, my water.
where is it?
I can only hear it in my right ear.
Yeah, that's how it's set up on
Oh.
this. I think it's.
I
'cause
don't like it. It's loud. It's
records, like,
overstimulating
I
me.
think it records mono or whatever it is, like one track,
Yeah.
one side.
Can I have my water, please?
Yes. Like it.
Did you get any new listeners from anywhere? 'Cause I put it on work the other day.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I have not. I'm gonna be honest. I have not been paying attention. I haven't even posted on the socials in like a month. I'm just ugh. I've been in a funk.
That hurricane fatigue was
I
bad.
know, but I've been in a funk. All right, are you gonna give us our intro?
Sure.
Okay.
Welcome to Little Bracket of Horrors, the pod that puts fight. I messed up.
Take all your time.
No,
It's gonna be fun.
Ian needs to go to bed. He has soccer in the morning. Welcome to Little Bracket of Horrors, the pod that puts fight. Oh.
Ah. That puts fight in fright.
I gotta write it down.
What are you doing? Did your computer fall asleep?
No.
Oh. Are you doing work stuff in the middle of the bike? Okay.
When I turned it all off.
Oh.
What? It's welcome to Little Bracket of Horrors, the pod
That puts the fight.
puts
The
the
fight in fright.
I gotta write it down.
Number
My
one listener.
ADHD's bad after
Number
working
one
all day.
listener.
That's Daniel, but
Yeah.
okay. Amanda, is this Amanda W?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
This
man.
is our sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Our great sister-in-law.
She said, I grew up rural.
Rural.
I'm not going to be able to say it.
Do it.
I grew up rural. Execution.
Execution.
Rural.
Rural. I grew up rural.
Do you want me to do Mandy's? I'll do it to help you. Come on. Do you want me to do Mandy's? I'll do it for you.
She said, I grew up
Stop.
rurally.
Oh my God.
I can't. Amanda grew up
Execution.
rurally.
Rural.
Rural.
You. What are you doing to me?
It sounds rural.
Rural. Think of Laurel.
Rural.
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 Rurally. Oh heavens. Are you okay?
No. I grew up a rural.
Oh my God.
Hold on, I'm going to skip it for a second.
Okay.
Roger R.
Ooh, Raj.
This, he smells, by the way.
Oh.